What is up, ladies and gents? Thought I would do a video tonight talking about the harassing allegations and everything surrounding that. So, there's one thing I've always said about Chris, and that is that he should never have been allowed to continue posting on the platform. Posting videos on YouTube after what he was accused of. Like, he should have been banned from YouTube after being accused of something, so serious, if you know what I mean. Whenever I think about it, it's like, it's not something that's ever gonna go away. Those allegations are always gonna be there, like they're always gonna keep coming up or being brought up, and I think these days that is starting to kind of come back, and it's really coming back to bite us hard on the backside. You can really tell. I think the problem with this whole, the whole situation is the fact that so many people were so quick to believe Chris and believe that he didn't do anything wrong. And it's like, what people need to think about is this. Just because Chris said he didn't do anything doesn't automatically mean that he was telling the truth. Because the thing is, he was never trying to come onto YouTube and admit that he did what he did. He was always trying to deny that. He was always trying to say that he didn't do anything wrong. The other thing you got to think about is the fact that, the police about the reason the police didn't arrest him. It's not because they didn't think he'd done anything wrong, or they didn't believe that he'd done anything wrong. It was because of the girl's age. Because she was 16, which meant that she was legal age of consent. Which is obviously the legal age of consent here in the UK is 16. So Chris therefore hadn't really committed a crime, which is why he wasn't arrested and charged with anything. It wasn't because he wasn't guilty of anything, it was because of the girl's age. How we all know that had that girl been younger, had she been the age that Esme herself is now, which is 15, he probably would have been charged. And he probably would have been arrested, and he would have been charged, and he would have been locked up in a prison cell for a substantial amount of time. It's just sad. I mean, I think when you think about it, right, girls often find it so hard to speak out about what men like Chris Ingham have done to them, and the reason they find it so hard to speak out about that is because they know that people won't believe them. And this is a sad bit about Jess, that there are so many people that don't believe her and believe that she was telling lies and things like that. And I hope that she knows that there are people out there who believe her and believe that she's telling the truth, or know that I hope that she knows that there are people out there who know that she's telling the truth about what Chris did and don't think that she's lying. There's just so many things that don't add up with it. Obviously, there was the things I mentioned yesterday. Obviously, they've not been back to Orlando. Every time someone mentions the allegations, they both get extremely triggered, which is a bit odd, especially if Chris hasn't done anything wrong, as they've claimed many times. But the one thing that I was thinking, I was sort of thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking to myself, why did Chris never sue that girl's family? Because if she's made false accusations against him, surely he had the right to do that. So why did he never do that? If he was telling the truth and he didn't do anything wrong, why has he never sued that girl's family? It's that's one of the things that stands out like a hole in the head. I mean, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. He was never gonna fucking admit that he did anything wrong. He was always gonna fucking lie. He was always gonna fucking say that he didn't do anything. Like, why would Chris ever want to admit to doing something like that? Even if he did do it, he wouldn't admit to it. It's like, how can anyone in their right mind believe him and believe that he was telling the truth and believe that he didn't do anything. That's why girls, is, are frightened to speak out about what men like Chris have done to them, because they know they won't get believed. Or they won't be believed, should I say. This is what really sickens me, is knowing that there's so many assholes out there who believe that Chris is completely innocent and believe that he didn't do anything wrong. And I just can't believe that there are people out there who believe that Chris is completely innocent. I think what really pisses me off about this is that even, obviously people were treating him like the victim then, and even now, people are still treating him like he's the victim. Instead, it's like, the iFam are forced on to believe every single word, that comes out of Chris and Sarah's mouths. They don't believe that every single word that comes out of Chris and Sarah's mouths is the truth. But there's no doubt in my mind that girl Jess was speaking the truth, or was telling the truth about what Chris did. I will never believe that Chris is innocent. Like, my opinion on that is something that will never change. As far as I'm concerned, Chris is a guilty bastard who should never have been, is a dirty bastard who should never have been allowed to continue posting every day on YouTube. He should have been banned, after those allegations were made against him. He should not have been allowed to continue posting on YouTube. It's just crazy to think that he's never actually faced any sort of consequences for what he did, purely because of the girl's age. At the end of the day, that girl was still, even though she was 16, she was still a child. Effectively, she wasn't 18 yet. That's what you gotta think about. It's like, why would people believe that Chris is telling the truth? Why would people believe that, why would people want to believe that Chris is innocent and Chris didn't do anything? Because we all know that's not true. We all know that he's not innocent. We all know that he's not the victim. We all know that the real victim is Jess. I've had enough of him always being treated like the victim. Because he is not the victim. People need to stop treating him like that. Because, it's just sad. That even now people are still treating Chris like he's the victim and saying that Chris didn't do anything wrong. Chris is innocent. Because we all know that's absolute bullshit, and I think everybody would say that. I think everybody would say that it's absolute bullshit, and basically it is. I've never ever believed that Chris was innocent, and I think the reason that I've never believed he's innocent is because there's too much evidence. I feel like there is too much evidence that proves that Chris is not as innocent as he's made himself out to be. We've seen proof. There are actual screenshots of the messages that were sent by Chris. We know that the police confirmed the messages were genuine. It's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. And I think, I just struggle to make sense of how anybody could believe that Chris is innocent. You should have to be a fucking idiot or a bloody moron to ever believe that Chris is innocent and Chris didn't do anything wrong. I don't think any sane person would ever believe that. Genuinely, I genuinely don't. As I said, you'd have to be a complete nutjob, or a complete psycho to believe that he was innocent, and to believe that he didn't do anything wrong. And that's even worse. But it's bad enough the fact that he denied it. But it's even worse. It's actually disgusting to think that people actually believe he didn't do anything and believe that, he's so innocent. I think people really need to get their facts straight a little bit here, because I think we all know that Chrissy Boy isn't as innocent as he's made out to be. The freaking creepy, sweaty, beanie hat wearing garden gnome. That's what he bloody looks like. Whenever he wears a beanie hat, he makes him look like a fucking garden gnome. That's what I say. As I said, these allegations are never gonna go away. They're always gonna be there. They're always gonna rear their ugly head at times. No matter what Chris and Sarah ever do, they will never make this go away. It's not something that ever will go away. Obviously, Chris and Sarah will always deny it. And obviously the IFAM will always fall for their lies, and will always fall for, will always believe, or should I say, will always choose to believe every single word that comes out of their mouth, and will choose to believe that they're always telling the truth, which a lot of the time they're not. A lot of the time they're lying through their teeth. But the IFAM are too damn stupid to actually realise that, and the IFAM are basically falling for their lies every single time. It's like, as I said towards the start of the video, just because Chris said that he didn't do anything doesn't automatically mean that he's telling the truth. Obviously, some people will think that because he said he didn't do it, that automatically means he's telling the truth. It doesn't. Just because he said he did not do it and he didn't do anything doesn't automatically mean that he's telling the truth. I'd love to see him do a lie detector, as I think there'd be a little bit of a shock for them on there if they ever did a lie detector. It's just, all I can say is that if this is that sort of individual that is not safe, shouldn't be around kids. That's what I'm saying. He's not the sort of individual who should be allowed around kids, pure and simple. That's not me trying to be harsh. It's just me telling the truth. It is, and I think there's a better way of looking at things and a more kind of appropriate way of looking at things. And I will say that people like Chris certainly shouldn't be believed. It's like, why would anyone want to believe what he says? Why would anyone believe that he's telling the truth? There's just too much, I feel like there's just too much evidence that proves otherwise. There's too much evidence that proves that Chris did what he did. There's too much. It's like, why would, this is another thing that, I thought about quite a lot. And it's like, why would that girl Jess have posted a video outing Chris and exposing him if she was lying? It's just, it wouldn't have made sense for her to do a video outing Chris if she knew she was lying. I'm surprised that some people, I'm surprised that, that some people, that there haven't been people saying that she was just trying to get some attention, or she was just doing it for money or something like that. Because that's what I reckon a lot of people would say. Is that she was just trying to get, she just did that video. Some people say she was attention seeking. That's all bullshit. At the end of the day, I will always believe that she was telling the truth. I don't think I'll ever believe that she wasn't. There's not a single part of me that will ever believe that Chris was telling the truth when he said he didn't do anything wrong. There's not a part of me that thinks there's not a single part of me that believes that Chris would be innocent. You know, I don't know what people would think if I was to say that Chris is innocent, but of course I don't believe he's innocent, and I never have. Because as I said, I think it's just there's too much evidence that proves otherwise, that kind of proves what he did. And I think this is a major this is the major thing, the major problem is the fact that there is too much evidence. That sort of proves that he did what he did, you know. I mean, as I said, you know, do people really think that Chris was going to come on YouTube and, and admit to doing what he did? He was never going to do that. He was always going to come onto YouTube and deny the accusations or the allegations that have been made against him. He was always going to say that those allegations weren't true. But we all know that they are true. You know, and a lot of the evidence would point, sort of point us towards that. As I said, you know, it's also become very noticeable that Chris and Sarah also always get very triggered whenever anyone mentions the allegations. You know, they literally go off like a rocket at the slightest mention of the allegations. You know, I was thinking about them going to Orlando. I was thinking, you know, even if they have plans to return to Orlando, I honestly don't think they would announce that. I honestly don't think that they would tell people that they would say anything about going back to Orlando, because they wouldn't. Obviously, they would know that people would start going off about the allegations again, and it would, the allegations would start being brought up, and the best way to avoid that, obviously, would be to not, not even attempt Orlando. I think. I mean, I'd like to believe that one day they'll one day attempt Orlando again, but it doesn't feel like one of those things that will ever happen. It's just. I mean, I don't know what to say. I think that it's one of those things that has to be looked at. I certainly don't believe that Chris is innocent. There's just. Nothing about him has ever screamed innocent. And shame on those people who believe that he is. Shame on those people who believe that he did nothing wrong. Shame on the people that wanted to defend someone like him and treat him like the innocent victim. This is what has always wound me up more than anything, is the fact that he has always been treated like the victim. Time and time again, and he always will be treated like the victim. By certain people. And I think that you have to look at that, and it is quite shocking. That obviously, you're hearing comments like that you're kind of, that even now, sort of 6-7 years later, people are still defending Chris and are still maintaining that he's innocent and still maintaining that he did nothing wrong. They're still so adamant that Chris is an innocent man, when there's too much evidence that proves that he's not. It's not like there's a lack of evidence. There's so much evidence that proves that Chris did what he did. I don't care what people think. I don't care what, people can say what they like, about all this, But I, for one, will always 110% believe that Chris did what he did. I will always believe that Chris is as guilty as sin, because I think we all know he is. And I think, I don't care what the iFan think. They can believe what they want to believe. But they are all talking out their backsides. None of them, I bet none of them would actually stand in front of that girl's parents to tell them that she was lying. They all think she was lying, but they would never stand in front of her parents to tell her that, tell their parents that, would they? None of them would actually have the balls to do that. It's just, as I said towards the start of the video, it's never made sense to me that he never tried to sue that girl's family for anything. Because you would think he would have done that. You would think that he would have sued that girl's family. But the fact that he's never done that doesn't sit right with me, and it does raise a few red flags. Because as I said, you think that's one of the main things that he would have done. He would have sued that girl's family. You know, it's like, there's just, as I said, there's just so many things that don't really add up, you know, and kind of make me think that, you know, make me believe that Chris is guilty. And that is one of those things. It's the fact that he's never actually sued that girl's family, which you would think he would have. Like, you know, I don't think there is anything that will ever convince me that Chris is innocent. Like, you know, I know in my heart and in my mind that he's not innocent. I know that he's as guilty as sin. And I mean, the thing I don't understand is how people can honestly believe he's innocent. There was nothing innocent about him at all. You know, this is the thing. Chris has never sort of struck me as an innocent person by any standards. You know, to be honest, if I was a parent, he's not somebody I would want around my kids. He's not the sort of individual that I would allow near my kids. You know, and at the end of the day, as I've said before, any decent woman, or any decent parent, and a decent mother, would have, you know, if their husband was accused of something like that, he would have been thrown out the house. You know, he would have been thrown out the door. They would not have kept him in the house. But not dear darling Sarah Louise has more money than sense in him. You know, this is the thing that's so sickening about it. It's the fact that the fact that for the last 6-7 years, she has stood by Chris after what he did. That's more disgusting and more shameful than anything else. Is the fact that she has fucking stood by him for the last 6 years after what he did. You know, that is absolutely fucking disgusting. There's no decent woman or decent wife would stand by their husband if he was accused of something like that. You know, not at all. You know, they would probably very realistically throw their husband out of the house. And who'd fucking blame them? You know, it would be the most sensible thing to do. Would be to throw him out of the fucking house and say, you know what, sling your up. You know, it's what, you know, to be honest with you, it would have been the most appropriate thing for Sarah to do. You know, it would have been to have thrown him out of the house and said, you know what, let the fuck out. Is what any normal decent mother would do. But it does to show you what sort of sick, twisted individual Sarah Ingham really is, if she's willing to actually stand by her husband after what he was accused of. You know, it's just, it's hilarious. I mean, you know, to think about it, but you know, it's also sickening to think about, because it's not something any normal decent person would do. Like, no decent person would ever stand by someone if they were accused of something like that. You know, it's as simple as that. You know, and the finish with Chris is he's never changed. He's still the creepy pervert he was back then. He was a creepy pervert then. And he's still somewhat of a pervert now. You know, he hasn't changed. It's like that phrase, isn't it? A leopard never changes its spots. And that certainly rings true of you, Christopher. I'm a scumbag, and that point is certainly true about you. You know, that's all I can say. And yes, I will quite happily call Kristen a pervert, and I'll quite happily call Sarah an enabler, because that's exactly what they are. And there's not. I don't know how I could describe the iPhone, but they're a bunch of scumbags for actually supporting Chris and actually treating him like the innocent victim. How fucking sick! Like, that's beyond sick. You know, that's beyond disgusting to support someone like him, and and kind of treat him like the victim. Shame on those people that have done that for the past 6 years, man. Seriously. Those people are fucking unbelievable. There's no word to describe it. I mean, there's no good way to describe it. It's a truly disgusting, and I mean, it's a horrible thing to think about, but, it's one of those things that you think about a hell of a lot. It's sad when you think that people like him, to think that people like him have been allowed to continue posting videos every day on YouTube after what he did. Like, that makes me more angry than ever. We all know that he should never have been allowed to continue posting videos on YouTube after what he did. That should have been the end game right there and then. That should have been it. He should have been permanently banned. He should not have been allowed to continue posting videos every day on YouTube as he was. That makes the situation a whole lot worse. The fact that he was allowed to continue posting videos on YouTube after what he did. But it's not. What makes things worse is that you've got arseholes out there. And I will say, you've got fucking arseholes out there who will actually believe that he never did anything wrong. How the fuck? Can anybody in their right mind ever actually believe that Chris did fuck all wrong? Like, you'd have to be a fucking moron to believe that. Seriously. You'd have to be a fucking moron to believe Chris didn't do anything wrong. That's all I can say. If you don't believe that Chris did anything wrong, you are a fucking moron. And I don't care what people think about me saying that, but this just has to be said. If people believe that Chris didn't do anything wrong, then that makes them a fucking moron. Because no one in their right sane fucking mind would believe that Chris didn't do that wrong. Like, I don't think there's anybody, no sensible people believe that he did that. I certainly don't believe, there's no sensible person who believes that he didn't do anything wrong. I mean, I certainly don't think he did that. I certainly believe he did. I certainly don't believe he didn't do anything wrong. And I don't think there's a lot of other sensible people out there who believe that he didn't actually do. He did not do anything. Who don't believe that he didn't do anything wrong. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I mean, people wonder why I don't go after so many. I don't really go after. I mean, I do call other family vloggers out, but there's not really any other family vloggers who, have been accused of what Chris did, and have enabled Chris to continue doing what he's doing. That's why Chris and Sarah is so much more controversial than other family vloggers, is Chris of what Chris did, and the fact that Sarah has stood by him after all these fucking years. I mean, what a bitch. I mean, she is now but a bitch. To stand by him after what he did, that's fucking unbelievable. Seriously, fucking unbelievable. I honestly don't know what else to say. I really don't. I really genuinely don't. like, I'm just lost for words. You know, really lost for words at this point. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video anyway. I'll see you for another one tomorrow tomorrow evening. Because I'm out for most of the day tomorrow, so there won't be a video during the day. But there'll definitely be another video tomorrow evening. And then there'll be a video during the day on Saturday, Sunday probably. Depending on what I'm planning on doing, I don't know. I certainly don't know what to suggest, what I'm thinking about doing, but yeah, we'll see what happens. But adios for now.